Mama, I'm a criminal. Mama, I'm a criminal. Criminal. Yeah. Everyone knows a criminal. And if you don't know one, then I have news for you. It's probably you. I feel like being a criminal comes with a certain level of intelligence and intuition, especially when it comes to the bigger crimes. Most bank robbers will have a meticulous plan covering every what if that comes up. But obviously, on the other side of the spectrum, we have the not so intelligent criminals. Now, I've had some first-hand experience with not so intelligent criminals. About a year ago today, my house was broken into by a group of 12-year-olds who took my car keys and took my car, and then took it on a police chase.
I worked hard for that car. I'm a broke 22-year-old, and I love that car.
But that isn't enough, returning half an hour later for his partner's Mazda.
So I made a post on my local Facebook group chat saying, watch out for these guys, and they messaged me on Facebook. So yeah, they got caught. But that story has nothing on some of these stories I'm about to tell you. Man, these guys are f***ing stupid. Today we are going over stories of who I think are the 5 dumbest criminals in the world. And this last one, this is some of the most brainless shit that I've ever heard. Number 5! We start our video with a man named Derek. In 2013, Derek woke up and decided, maybe my current arsenal of weapons isn't powerful enough. So after some deep thinking, he figured out his target. Why buy a gun when I can steal one? Genius. Derek was set. So he made his way to the local gun store. And you're probably thinking, Derek already has a gun, so why does he need another one? Is it to make his arsenal bigger? Is it to have one spare? Because no one would rob a gun store without a gun, right? Wrong! Derek decided that his best option to rob this gun store would be to use a baseball bat. So he walked in, smashed a display, stole an unloaded handgun, and walked out. And Derek lived happily ever after. I am kidding. The store owner held Derek at gunpoint and made him go on the floor until the police arrived. Who would have thought that the gun store owner would have had a gun? What a world we live in. Now, I might not have a Sigma Alpha mindset, but I'm pretty sure baseball bat versus gun isn't a really fair fight. So Derek got arrested. Number 4! Imagine you're planning a crime. The first thing that you'd think of is covering your face, right? Hashtag no face, no case. But what happens if you don't have a ski mask? Well, you'd probably use something else, like a balaclava or a t-shirt or just something that could cover your face. But what if there was an even bigger brain move? Something that no one would see past. Something more permanent. We make our way over to the story of Joey and Matthew. These 2 men decided to commit crimes by covering their face in permanent marker. I wish I was making this up. Do you guys want to see the mugshot? So sure, maybe the marker made them harder to recognize during crimes. I'm not sure how, but let's just roll with it for the sake of the story. So they finish their crime and they leave, and then they notice something weird. Permanent marker is permanent. What? So basically they couldn't get the marker off, and they ended up being recognized for their crimes. And their disguises were so dumb that the police actually nicknamed the 2 Dumb and Dumber. Number 3! In 1995, a man walked into a bank. This man went by the name of Clouse. I couldn't find a mugshot, okay? I'm sorry. So Clouse's idea was to rob the bank using a handgun. The standard robbery. He walks into the bank, goes up to the counter and pulls his gun out. So far, so good. Clouse is feeling chuffed. He might actually get away with this. So the bank teller complies and starts getting the money ready. Terrified of what Clouse is going to do if she pulls the alarm. She pulls out the cash and asks Clouse, "Do you need a bag?" Clouse looks her dead in the eyes and he replies, "You're damn right this is a real gun." The teller is taken back, questioning the threat that Clouse has just given her. But then she realizes something. Clouse is deaf, so she hits the alarm under the counter and sure enough, Clouse doesn't hear it. He continues the robbery, thinking it's all going smoothly and everything's going to his plan, and eventually he's swarmed by the police. But this is where it gets even weirder. Clouse decides that afterwards his best action would be to sue the bank. Apparently, when the teller hit the alarm, Clouse claims that they were abusing his disability. Imagine thinking that you are the victim in this scenario. I couldn't find anything about whether Clouse won the case, but a little part of me is saying no. Number 2! It's a cold and lonely morning in Chicago, and a man that goes by the name of Ruben decides he doesn't have enough money, so it is time to turn to the life of crime. I mean, everyone else is doing it, so why shouldn't he? Ruben decides to target a muffler shop, because mufflers are expensive, so the store is bound to have cash. As he arrives at the premises, he makes his way inside to the counter and demands the cash. But the cashier tells him that the cash is left in a safe out the back, and no one has access to it except the manager, who is not in at the moment. So Ruben stresses out. His plan is failing. How is he going to pre-order every copy of GTA 6 so no one else gets to play it? The cashier notices the stressing and tells Ruben, "Don't worry, the manager's coming this afternoon." Whew! Lucky Ruben. So Ruben says to the cashier, "I'll leave my phone number here. Can you call me when the manager gets here so that I can rob you guys?" And the cashier gives him a smile and says, "Of course, ma'am. Just leave your number and I'll give you a buzz when he's in. Make sure to rate my customer service 5 stars, please." I'm kidding. There were a lot more threats involved, but I don't want to say that on YouTube. Ruben leaves with a hop and a skip in his step. Sure enough, later that afternoon, Ruben gets the call, and the manager has come in. So it is time to commence the robbery. Ruben is stoked. His life is turning around. He arrives back at the store, and the police were there. How fucking stupid could you be, Ruben? Obviously, the police are gonna be there, you donut. So Ruben decides he isn't going out without a fight. So a shootout commences, and Ruben gets shot. Who would have thunk it? Number 1! Okay, this one takes the cake. So you're probably thinking, surely a disguise couldn't get much worse than 2 men using permanent marker on their face. Well, buckle up. A man named Dennis decided it was his turn for fortune. He'd read stories about bank robberies before and thought to himself, how hard could it be? He noticed that the majority of people that didn't get away with the crimes got busted because their disguises weren't good enough. So he thought to himself, what would the complete opposite of me look like? And then he noticed it. On the screen of his computer, a small tab that said incognito mode. He looked down at his chest and imagined 2 large lumps of fat coming out of it. He looked back up. His eyes widened. A woman. If people saw a woman robbing a bank, they're not gonna look for a man. So he stocked up, gathering a wig, fake breasts, and clown pants? Yeah, clown pants. He then shoplifted a BB gun from Kmart and entered the bank. But here's the thing, Dennis didn't bother about shaving his black moustache off. A black moustache and a blonde wig. Black moustache, blonde wig. But Dennis manages to grab the money and he runs. It worked. It really fucking worked. He's chuffed, he's running, he's excited. And then he opens the bag and the dye bag goes off. All over his face. He looks around and in a panic he gets in the passenger side of a woman's car. She takes one look at him, turns off the car, takes the keys and leaves. Police are now closing in. Dennis has nowhere to go. He can't hide. He can't go into a crowd and disappear because he is wearing clown pants, fake boobs, a blonde wig, and he's got dye bag all over his face. So he gives up. The police apprehend him and Dennis is arrested. Apparently Dennis didn't understand that disguises are meant to be inconspicuous. The Swiss Vale chief of police at the time claims he would get my nomination for the dumbest criminal. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't commit crimes! What do you guys think? Are there criminals that I have missed? Have you heard of criminals dumber than these 5? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe.